Right. Thanks, folks. My name's Joan Mackay, and I work in Education Scotland, head up curriculum innovation. And one of the big jobs that our small team have been working on alongside others is the national e-learning offer with partners in that. So my job today is to kind of introduce a wee bit of that. I'm going to do the first 5 minutes or so taking you through what the national e-learning offer is. It's not the sexiest of names. We've had plenty of tips on what it could be. So just to let you know that for myself and the team, we call it NELO. That helps us to play around with the notion of Nemo and finding Nemo and finding Nilo. So this is a kind of finding Nilo session. When I'm done mine, I'll pass on to Jackie Yule, colleague from eSchool, who will give you an introduction and an insert on one aspect of the national e-learning offer. But the main bulk of today will be introduced to you after Jackie's bit by Paul Downey, who is heading up on the west-to-west part of the offer. So I hope I set all of that in context for you. And when it comes to Paul, and that's of course the bulk of the whole session is about that, he'll introduce all his colleagues, Claire and Tina and so on. So he'll do that when it comes to that part. So briefly, national e-learning offer, you see the partners. The point of it in a way was drawing together what people were willing to offer as a backup to all of us beyond regions and beyond RICS. What was there in the system to support if we needed to tap into it or if we wanted to develop it in any kind of way during this period or beyond COVID. So if you click on the next slide please, Kirsty, thanks. So the main thing is there's three component parts to it at the moment. There's the live element, which you'll hear about immediately after this for 5 minutes, and that's typified in the work that eSchool is doing as part of this national offer. Some of you will have familiarity with that. Jackie Yule, who's one of the digital deputies in eSchool, will take you through what's on offer there just now. And then important to say that a week today, we'll do another webinar almost in this time slot, but certainly next Wednesday. And what we'll look at in that one is what's all the pedagogy and learning from the study support webinars. How are they run? What are people learning from them as teachers? And how are we using in the live element the component parts of supported and recorded? And then the middle bit there is the recorded bit, and that's of course what the bulk of today's seminar is going to be about. It's been about the development of these, and I'll take you through that. And the other bit, of course, being the supported. Next slide, please, Kirsty. So I'm just 3 slides now, giving you a very brief overview of what each of these things mean, and it's always, you know, how do you use words to describe best what's going on. So the supported stuff it came out of Term 4 when Education Scotland hosted subject webinars. Some of you may have been in them, and from these came a request from subject networks, beginning specifically with physics, chemistry, math networks, to say, look, we're already sharing resources across schools, authorities, and is there some way of gathering this in one place for everyone? And at that point, I think people thought for the future, you know, so that it's not seen that we would be into another lockdown quite so quickly after the Term 4 one. So that's what came out of there. Education Scotland, senior education officers who had responsibility for subject areas said, okay, we'll begin to collate these, and we're continuing to do that. And so that's the bit that's referred to in the overall national offer as the supported component. You know, so for instance, in there are well-known resources have been on the go a long time, links to scholar resources and links to the BBC. And you're probably also aware we're working quite closely with the BBC on a kind of week-by-week basis, just finding out what's in their programmes and how we can fit that in around subject areas and around, you know, specific qualifications and so on. So the first set of these supported materials were made available there in November. There's the number that are available at the moment, point of access. And the important thing for everybody on this call is if you have good resources and you can contribute them to this, then please do that. There's a form on that link which will allow you indicate that to the team who are doing all the collation and putting them together in subject and kind of cognitive area groups. Please do that. Next slide, please. The recorded element, I don't need to say much about this today because that's what the bulk of the webinar is about. Again, a lot of you will know the story that over the summer of 2020, following again the experience of Term 4, West Partnership set up West OS, and they began to commission this series of recorded lessons. Some of you on the call may well have contributed to this. And again, I think I can probably say, but Paul can correct me or not, that if you're interested again in being part of this, do contact them. A number of RICs, I think all RICs are contributing to this. So, you know, for instance, eSchool contribute the video lessons they make to the West Partnership, the West OS Bank, and equally they use the West OS Bank for some of their work, such as in the supported study sessions. So there's the number, 736 at the moment, and continuing to grow. It changes week by week at the moment. And it's available on ClickView. And the important thing is just to check if your own local authority has made that available. We've been working very hard with the local authorities to make sure that each one has. And again, Paul can probably update you, but the last time I checked, I think 22 of the 32 local authorities had that access. And practitioners from, you know, that's as it says on there, practitioners from all the local authorities are continuing to add to that. Next one, please. The live element, now Jackie's coming on immediately after this, so I'm going to give her a longer space because she's got more detail, but that's a kind of summary. Again, in Term 4, eSchool had been offering SILT webinars, they've been offering Scholar, they've been offering some BGE input, trialing various approaches, doing it in different ways through the webinar type approach, as well as the basic class unit that they normally would do. So in August, when schools returned, there was a request from SERG, that's the Education Recovery Group, that eSchool begin to look at a comprehensive 3 to 18 offer in case. I always see it as a bit of the preparation of Louisa Jordan, so in case we needed it, and that was underway. You're probably very aware of the after-school study programme because that was well advanced in August, and that's been running since September and continues to grow. And again, Jackie will give you more detail on that. That's all in Glow, that programme, so youngsters signing in as we're doing today into Teams and joining classes, and that remains very live. But you'll appreciate at this point in time, there's less of a request. Obviously, you haven't got groups of youngsters isolating. There's less of a request for the class-based approach. The study support continues to grow. Then eSchool put on Lockdown Live from the 11th of January. I'm hoping that some of you have seen that, with sessions at set times each day, and that's designed to support teachers who are now working from home. All these sessions have been recorded, so you can go back and access them in this future period of time, and then added to that DYW Live from the 18th of January. And again, all details on the eSchool website. And so I think I'll stop there and hand over to Jackie, but also probably to say, as I said, for the other 2 slides, if anybody on the call is interested in working with and alongside eSchool, then please get in touch with eSchool.